Here.
Councilwoman Rakowski,
Here.
President Hart.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. Really quick, we have no guest special presentations or announcements, but I do have something to share.
McDermott. Here. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Someone's got the YouTube on.
President Hart. Here. A quorum is present.
There we go.
Okay.
There's an echo in here.
Yeah, a little bit of an echo. We're all going to get used to this. This is why we have our practice session today. As last I spoke to Mr. Brown, there you are, Mayor, we see you. Mr. Brown, Craig Brown, he says, we do have a typist who is going to be transcribing what we're saying today for closed captioning. Unless he interrupts me. We're going to move forward. I'm going to ask everybody today, we're going to work on a permanent solution for this. Our initial permanent solution didn't work. We're having some issues. So again, we have a typist who is going to be transcribing everything we say. So 2 requests: A, speak slowly, and B, offer some brevity in your comments that you want to make so it's easy on the typist to go ahead and transcribe what we're saying. All right, so that would be very much appreciated if you could. So with that, we'll move on to citizens' comments with regards to the agenda. Citizens will have 3 minutes to speak on the agenda. Now, it's going to be done 2 ways. Instructions for public comment. Electronic attendees will have to use the raise hand function. So if you're dialed into Zoom, you use the raised hand function during the public comment portion. And this is for items that are specifically on the agenda right now. You'll have 3 minutes to do so. If you're a telephone, if you're a dial-in, you can go ahead and be placed in queue by pressing *9, and I'll identify you based on your telephone number. The last 3 digits looks like if your telephone number. At that, you'll probably have to dial *6 to go ahead and unmute your phone, and then *6 to remute it. So with regards to the agenda, are there any questions from the public? I have 1 hand up from Deanna. I'm going to allow you to talk now. There you are. I'm going to try and unmute you. My unmute function isn't working, Craig. Is there something you can help with?
You have to unmute herself.
Okay, Diana, you'll have to hit *6 to unmute yourself.
She's on Zoom, so it looks like she can.
Yeah, she's dialed into the app, so it's not working.
Oh.
Deanna, if I don't get anything from you here, I'll have to move on. All right.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, that was just a test. So I have no questions at this time. Thank you very much.
Well, hopefully we passed your test.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we'll close citizens' comments on the agenda, move into the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Hersberg. Whoever supported that, please wave your hand so I can see it. Support by Councilwoman Rakowski. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Approval of minutes of regular meeting held March 16, 2020. Last item approved on the consent calendar, approval of minutes of study session held March 16, 2020. Moving to new business. Item 1, approval of vouchers.
Is there a motion?
For approval?
Councilman Hersberg motions to approve the vouchers. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilman Godbout. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, we'll now move on to comments or requests from the public. As just as we was before, we'll now open up to any comments or requests from the public. Again, if you're on the Zoom app, you'll need to raise your hand. If you are dialed in by phone, you'll have to hit *9 on your phone and you'll be called on by the last 3 digits of your telephone number that you're registered with. Seeing the first, we'll move on to Richard Graham. You are now, go ahead. Are you there? Can I hear you? Mr. Graham, you'll have to unmute. Let me try and unmute you. I'm not able to unmute. There you are. I think you're live now. Mr. Graham, are you there? Craig, I show that he is unmuted and that his talking is permitted in the app.
That is correct. He unmuted.
No, he just muted himself.
Yes, he muted himself. All residents need to remember that you do come in muted. We will unmute you on our side, but you still have to unmute yourself on your side also. Mr. Graham, to unmute himself at this particular juncture for him to talk.
Right. All right, Mr. Graham, I show you unmuted. Do you have anything to say, sir? Any questions for the council? Well, hearing none, I'll go ahead and close this one. If we get through technical difficulty, we'll come back. We'll move on to the telephone number, last 3 digits ending in 017. Last 3 telephone ending in 017. You just muted yourself. There, you should be able to talk now. Greg, do we have any other technical difficulty?
It's not technical difficulty on this side. The Zoom app is working functionally.
Very good. Just making sure.
We do have a third one, Council President, if we need to move on and come back.
Yep. But we're just going to try 017 one more time here. I thought. So I'll go
Hello?
right here. There we go.
Hello?
017. Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, this is Richard Graham. I'm running on Zoom, but then running on the phone to dial in. How I typically will do that. So my apologies.
So just so I'm
I do
clear, Mr. Graham, 017 is your phone number. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you again. Richard Graham from Move Westland Forward. Hope everyone and their families are safe during these trying times. I am hoping to hear tonight Mayor Wild tell the residents how we are going to have recycling back and how that will look. It has been around 6 weeks since the tax increase passed, and I assume there is a plan to start it back up by July 1st, which is in less than 3 months. We have also been contacted many times by various residents about the large metal bins placed by Midwest Sanitation all around the city. These have been a long-standing eyesore and frankly a blight condition within our fine city. Many were surprised that they remained open and not removed during this COVID-19 outbreak. No signs are on these stating not to put used products into them during this crisis, and they seem not to be monitored. They frankly were never that well monitored in the past. It is also concerning that the administration is supporting these bins while there are plenty of brick and mortar businesses that also collect used clothes, shoes, etc. One would think that we would try very hard to protect our established brick and mortar businesses. We see how many of these businesses are closing and how the area looks with so many empty storefronts. Now, we also know that Councilman Godbout is the vice president of this blue bin company, and the owner gives large political contributions to Mayor Wild and Team Wild. What can council do to stop the blight conditions at these locations, which can and will harbor disease, COVID-19, rodents, etc.? Thank you, take care, and stay safe.
Thank you. All right, we move on to comments from Cassie Dulock. We're going to set you up here. Cassie Dulock.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, great. Not really great at the Zoom thing, so.
We're all getting used to it.
I'll introduce myself, Cassie Dulock. I'm a resident of Westland. I own a licensed home daycare in the city, but I also represent 43 other licensed providers through the association that I had. And I'm reaching out to you tonight because we are in dire need of supplies. Ultimately, we know that there are a lot of priorities that come before a daycare, but we are caring for those critical workers, and those of us that are trying to stay open are trying to keep a safe and clean environment. And it's simple supplies, hand sanitizer, Clorox sanitizing wipes, Lysol spray, or even rubbing alcohol we can use in place of the Lysol spray. And even thermometers, because some of us can't properly screen parents and children that are coming and going. And the reason why I'm reaching out to you tonight is because I've tried at the state level. I've talked with the BMBC. I talked with Amanda Esbrenner with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. She referred me to Aubrey Berman, who is working with the city. I've reached out to her through the contact information on the website for the city, and as of yet have not heard anything. So I've reached out, I've talked with State Rep Coleman as well, and I'm trying on the local level, talking with store managers who won't budge on limits, which I understand they have their policies, but we care for more than just our own family, but for the children in our care. So we have a larger need inventory wise of what the limits are at the stores. The store managers have been nice enough to offer us to get supplies during the senior times, but unfortunately those are during the days and hours that we're already working in an operation. And I've tried just about every resource I can think of, and I'm hoping that maybe somebody with the city and your clout can speak with some of our local retailers and see if there's something else that can be accomplished to help us out. I've reached out to the United Way with no luck. They have nothing for us. They are originally the organization that was supposed to be able to help us out, and they don't have those types of supplies. I've reached out to Great Start. I've reached out to people I know that actually work in stores, and they can't do anything. They're stuck by the rules there as well. And I've put a shout out on Facebook a couple times to family and friends, and we've gotten a little bit of result there. But like I said, I represent 43 licensed facilities, so it's not enough.
Okay. All right,
Thank you
Cassie.
for your time.
Yep, you're up to the 3 minutes here too, so you ended right on time. What I don't want to do is normally what would happen is I would ask the deputy mayor to reach out to you after the council meeting if we're in person and get some more information from you so the mayor could kind of reach out to you as well, since I don't want you to advertise your phone number here.
I appreciate that.
Yep, so I'll ask you to reach out to the mayor's office and he could follow up with you, I'm sure, to see if there's anything that he can also do. Mayor,
Okay. Can I just
go ahead.
ask a real quick question? I have tried to contact the city through the sources. Is there a certain number or email I should use to reach out so I know it's getting to them?
Mayor, go ahead.
Good evening, council. Good evening, Mrs. Dulock. Yeah, if you would like to, if you want to email me your contact, it's just mayor@cityofwestland.com.
Okay.
If you want to email me your contact information tonight, we'll get started on it, and I'll have somebody, we'll reach out to you tomorrow, and collectively, we may come back and ask the city council to try to help us with this, but we'll certainly do whatever we can to help you.
Okay, much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dulock. All right, is there anyone else wishing to speak? I see no hands raised.
We do have one.
Yep, one just came in. Mr. Paul Line. Paul Line, there you are. You should be active now.
Okay, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Yes, my question is about what are we going to do about the coronavirus and the number of people here in our community that we know is already infected and everything, and having a warning as they used to back when I used to be a child. Now, that may tell you how old I am, where our health department used to go around and tag the buildings that we've got a case here, a case of this, a case of that, which helped stop the spread of diseases back years ago. But are we all threatened with a HIPAA laws nowadays that says, oh no, they may sue the community if we tag this building or that one? Or do you think maybe that we ought to be, as Mayor Wild says on his page on the city, be the first in the nation, be the first in the nation to stop the spread of coronavirus inside our own city limits by tagging the houses, the businesses and stuff, so we don't have the postmen going to the houses, we don't have the delivery people going to the houses. So there's several of them in my neighborhood that need to be posted already. Nothing is being done about sterilization of these houses. I've seen one house get sterilized by the son of the people that passed away in it. But what we need is to be able to warn the people that have to work every day in this environment that we do not want to go near this home or this business until our health department tags it clear to go in there. Let's stop the spread of the virus right here in our own community first. Be the first, like Mayor Wild writes on his thing, be the first in America to come up with a community that says, this is going to stop here. We don't care what everyone else says. We are not afraid of the HIPAA laws because we're in a problem right now. We're in a problem. The HIPAA law can be put to the side with just a little bit of effort at even the federal regulation at the federal level right now. What do you think about trying to get our community to tag these homes, tag these businesses, so people will not accidentally stumble into them and spread the virus even more? Has anyone thought about this? Please respond, anybody.
Mayor, let me go ahead and unmute you. Or you try to unmute yourself. There you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Line, for bringing that forward tonight. I'm not sure if it was Mr. Line or another resident, but we received an email earlier this week. And so I'd asked our fire chief, Mike Stratner, to take a look at this, and we'll let him weigh in to see. We were trying to figure out if there's any other cities, any building departments, any state codes, anything. So I'm going to let the fire chief weigh in at this point, Council President.
Sure. Fire Chief Stratner, let's see, unmute you. You probably have to unmute yourself or Craig will have to do it. There you are. You should be live, Chief.
Okay, I'm unmuted. I reached out to several other cities around us and there's no processes in place because of the HIPAA law. There's actually the HIPAA law and the American with Disabilities Act that prohibits us from releasing information about what buildings. When we do have an infected patient in the county, or the city rather, the county health department does tag a tracing team to that, who's supposed to notify businesses that that person may have been in apartment buildings where they may have lived, and they cover disinfecting procedures. But that information is not released to the municipalities. The only way we'd be able to track COVID positive patients is through our tracking image trend software that we use for patient care reports. And that would be a direct violation of HIPAA to release that information. So we're trying to coordinate with local building departments and surrounding cities to see what kind of options are available to tag buildings, so to speak, to see if that's even legal.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. Is there anyone else wishes to speak? You'll have to raise your hand or *9 on your phone. Mr. Line, you do have about 30 seconds left of your time. We allow 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and respond. So if you want to unmute your phone.
City level, actually, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, has anyone here at the city level actually thought about contacting the president himself? And since he wants to be a war president, go ahead and put the HIPAA law off to the side for the care of the nation. For the care of the nation, we shouldn't have our hands tied by HIPAA or be afraid of being sued. If we're afraid of being sued, I'd like to see what judge would like to hand down a judgment against anybody at a time like this in our nation. You know,
Well, Mr. Line, your time has come up. I will
Thank you.
say, we'll go ahead and let any of the council members respond to that during their council comments section. I'll just say I haven't given much thought to that, so I'm probably not ready to even respond to a question like that, but we'll see if any of our colleagues or my colleagues are willing to do so. So moving on, are there anyone else who wish to speak? Again, you'll have to hit *9 on your telephone or raise your hand if you're using the Zoom app. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will move on to comments from the administration. This time, Mayor. Oh, you're muted, Mayor. Hold on. I think you'll have to unmute yourself or Craig will help us out. There you are. Try now.
How's that?
We can hear you, Mayor.
Okay. The last thing on Mr. Lyons' request, I'm going to be on a conference call tomorrow morning with the county, and they'll have the Wayne County Health Department officials on the line. So I'll begin that conversation on how we can identify some of these houses and if there's anything that we should be doing to protect those houses. The last thing I'll say on that, and the fire chief mentioned it, is one of the biggest challenges we have is we don't know which houses that these folks are coming from. So as I've been getting information on a daily basis, I'm lucky if I find out which hospital they passed away in. So usually it's just female, age, gender, sometimes race. So it's been pretty sketchy. So, but I'll definitely bring up that question tomorrow when I'm talking with the Wayne County health officials. Council, I'm just going to run through a couple real quick things here. I know that this is the first meeting. I appreciate you guys doing this. At this point, all of you should have received both electronically and hard paper copies of my proposed budget. And there may be additional information coming to you as we compile it. I think we still have the detailed capital, the CIP budget that will be coming to you and the administrative fee schedule. So we will be bringing those to you. And my goal is to try to have those to you by the time that we do the budget overview on the 18th. I do appreciate you giving both myself and the finance team a little extra time to get the final document together. And I know they appreciated it. Council, you probably saw an email today from the purchasing department that the city of Westland put out a request for proposals today to a recycling operator to start to give us a proposal to so we can bring back curbside recycling. We've sent those out to, I believe there were 8 recycling facilities that during the whole process when we had the public hearings that were mentioned. All 8 of those will receive a direct solicitation, and then the rest will go through the normal procedures. So that is available if you'd like to take a look at that. It should be on the website today. If it's not today, it should be on by tomorrow. And of course, you can always look at the hard copy. We've got those requests for proposals out for 30 days. So I'd expect that we will be talking about this in mid-May with the goal that if we're in agreement that we can get a contract before the city council before you adopt your budget. So that's going to be our goal. And we're going to hope that the industry will respond and they'll respond in a favorable number for us. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that. I did have a chance today to talk with the owner of the clothing recycling containers that we do have around the city. And for a little bit of background is these Midwest Recycling, they have a contract with the city of Westland that was approved by the city council. Those containers do bring back revenue for the city of Westland. And we've always allowed any donation centers that had a brick and mortar store were also allowed to put those containers on their properties, and we've always done that. So they are closed at this point. I did talk with the owner, and he said that they would go around and pick up anything that people have put outside of them, and that they have been trying to get around about, because they do plenty of other cities as well. They're by about once every 4 days. And keep in mind that there's not supposed to be stuff there, but if there is, they'll take it. But I did ask the owner today if he would put out signs on those containers so that we could maybe do a little bit better job of letting people know that those are not open at this point. And then just the last thing is I received a word from our city planner, Mo, tonight. Mo left work today on his way to the hospital, and we're keeping our fingers crossed because his wife is having a baby today. Hopefully everything is going well. He did text me and say that his census folks have, so he's working even though he's at the hospital. He sent me a text and says that he's hearing that the federal government may extend the census for an extra 4 months because of everything that we're dealing with right now. So we'll certainly keep Mo and his family in our thoughts and prayers. And earlier tonight, we did receive word that we had lost 5 more Westland residents today to the virus, which brings our number to 29. So as we close out tonight, perhaps we can keep all those folks in our thoughts and prayers. Thanks, Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the city attorney? Nothing. Can't hear you yet, Jim.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Feel like I'm in a Verizon ad. I was actually going to say this is working better than I thought it would work tonight. And I'd like to pass along my congratulations to Craig Brown and his team. I know they've worked hard to work out some of the wrinkles. So nothing else from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. We'll move to comments from City Council. We'll begin with Councilman Hertzberg.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Attorney Fossell. This worked out a lot better than I originally thought. I do have a little bit of concern going into the budget season about how we're going to do those meetings. It looks like on the schedule there's a time limit for these meetings, so I'd hope that's not the case. The budget's a lot to look at right now. I'm looking forward. I'm going to call each council member individually with some of my concerns. And again, public safety is a big priority. Try to add manpower in both departments, police and fire. I see that the full sanitation millage is part of the budget, the full $1 million that was approved. So if we could wait till the last budget meeting to go over that, as the mayor said, proposals may come back and numbers may change. Other than that, that's it. I'll talk to you council members this week.
Thank you, Councilman. Next, we hear from Councilwoman Tasha Green.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to start tonight by thanking the IT team, Craig Brown, and the people who work under him for the planning of this meeting. It actually, I've been on multiple Zoom meetings, and this actually has been a lot better than several that I've been on. So great job on that. Also, just wanted to take a moment to thank Governor Whitmer for extending an executive order to protect everyone and allow us to have this meeting for not only our safety, but the safety of the community. So I think that that should be acknowledged as well, because this was an unprecedented executive order due to, of course, the current circumstances. So thank you for that. I'd also like to thank all of our first responders who are getting up, risking their lives even more so every day now. All of the nurses, doctors, the grocery store workers, everybody who's getting up, leaving their families and going out, hoping to come home healthy every day. Thank you so much. Please know that I'm continuing to pray for you all. I'm praying for our city. I'm praying for our nation and pretty much the entire world. And we will all get through this together. I know this is a very dark time that we're dealing with right now, but we'll get through this together. I also wanted to encourage everyone to continue practicing social distancing, excuse me. If you haven't been aware, there's been some announcements of some of the employees who do work at some of the grocery stores and retail stores, those employees being, of course, exposed to what is going on are reportedly becoming sick. So please practice social distancing even when you're shopping for essential items. I know it's a huge inconvenience. You know, many stores are now only letting a few people in at a time, but this is definitely a matter of life and death. So please exercise extreme patience, and please practice social distancing and do whatever you can to keep yourself protected and also to protect the people that you come in contact with. If anyone has any questions for me, or if there's any information that I can provide to you, or if I can be of any help, you can always call me. My cell phone number is 734-828-7010. Once again, 734-828-7010. Finally, through the chair to Steve Smith, the contract that the mayor mentioned in terms of the blue bins, I don't believe I was on city council at that time, or I don't recall seeing the contract. So can you send me and whomever else on council would like to review a copy of that blue bin contract, and then a report that details how much money we've received, the city of Westland has received in terms of revenue over the last 36 months? Can you send a electronic copy?
Through the chair, yes, we can do that.
Thank you. Could, how soon do you think you'll be able to provide that?
You know, I'll have to look and see. You know, we have limited staff, obviously, in the office, and right now, the budget and the budget presentations are top priority for us. But you know, it should be fairly quickly. But I don't want to put a timeline on it. It's just hard to say. You wanted 36 months, 3 years worth? Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much going to an accounting program and putting 2 dates in, a start and a finish date, and it's as simple as spitting it out. And the contract should actually already be saved, an electronic version. So if you could please, in my estimation, it should be relatively easy to provide that information. So as soon as you, and I know you all have other things that you're working on, but as soon as you can get that information, especially with, I've seen complaints about those blue bins. This is my 3rd year on council, and it's never ending. So I would like to really understand more about the current agreement and you know, how financially feasible it is for our city. So I appreciate you taking care of that. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. Next will be Council Member James Godbout.
Thanks, Jim. Just a couple things. First, there was at the last meeting, we had an item that was postponed to the next council meeting. So I'm assuming we're going to pick that item up when we have the next meeting next Monday. Correct. As part of our agenda on that one. And then, you know, I just want to say thanks to our first responders, the police, fire, our DPS workers, the nurses, doctors, hospitals, support staff, the people that work at the grocery stores and the restaurants that are still open for carry out and takeout, the truck and delivery drivers, the people in the stores that stock shelves, and volunteers. There's been a lot of people that have stepped up and continue to work to help provide us with products and services that we all need or think we need during this difficult time. And it has been difficult for the past few weeks for a lot of our residents. So the main thing we can all do is stay safe and stay home. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Good evening. This went a lot better than I was anticipating as well. So thank you very much to our IT department and to the public that was able to dial in or log in and be with us this evening. I hope that this doesn't necessarily become our new normal, but it's nice to see that we're able to all come together. I'd like to extend the same words of thanks. I'm sorry. to our first responders and our frontline staff, and really pay recognition to the people who we've never deemed essential. But I think what's most important is that we recognize that everyone's life is essential to someone. Someone loves them. Someone wants them to come home and be safe. You know, when we see these numbers every day, it's heart-wrenching and heartbreaking. And I would just like to thank the mayor for taking my recommendation of when it's a time that we recognize the losses that our city has suffered and provide those families with a sense of closure as best as we can, because I don't know that we're going to be able to really heal people's hearts. And it just breaks mine. It breaks my heart. Please stay safe. It's been uplifting to see people sharing online that they're helping their neighbors, that they're taking care of one another. And I think that might be the silver lining of our pandemic, is that we realize exactly what community is. So with that, I wish you peace. For those of you that are grieving, I wish you all the peace in the world to get through your grief. And I just hope that you are all safe and healthy. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilman McDermott.
Well, good evening, everyone. First off, I want to say thank you to Craig and his team for putting this together. This has gone off, I think, very smooth. I too have participated in Zoom meetings for work that haven't gone nearly as smooth and as fluently as this has. So thank you, Craig, and your team for the hard work that you've put in for a number of weeks to get this set up. I'd like to thank our first responders here, to echo the sentiments of my colleagues here in the city of Westland, our police officers and our firefighters, of course, but also our DPW workers. The trash is still getting picked up here in the city of Westland, and that is something that even during a pandemic like this hasn't stopped. So thank you each and every day for responding and serving us and working for us in our police department, our firefighters, our paramedics, and also our DPW staff. And I too would like to echo the sentiments of people that often go unrecognized, our grocery store workers, people who work in the restaurant industry, delivery drivers who drive a truck for a living. Far too often, we almost never recognize the sacrifice that you make each and every day until we realize how important you are. And really, whether there's a pandemic or not, you are incredibly important to our economy and to our livelihoods. So to everybody that stocks a shelf or runs a cash register or delivers something to the store, thank you. And certainly thank you to all of our frontline workers at the hospitals, our nurses, our doctors, our hospital staff, keeping places like Beaumont, Annapolis, and hospitals all across Southeast Michigan and the country up and operating, trying to heal us and get us better. Thank you to each and every one of our frontline workers there at the hospitals as well. Wanted to thank the administration too for their leadership during this. I feel like as a community, we've gotten out ahead and had a really strong response, a really united response as a community. So thank you to Mayor Wild and the administration and Chief Stradner for leading the effort to respond to the COVID-19 situation. The other thing I wanted to make light of is that if you are someone or if you know someone who is out of work currently, you can file unemployment insurance through the state of Michigan. I know it's been tricky for a lot of people lately. There are backlogs going on at the state, and they are working diligently to catch up and make sure that everybody has the opportunity to file for unemployment insurance. And if you are someone who is looking to file, there are two ways which you can do it. Number one is you can go online to michigan.gov/UIA. That's michigan.gov/UIA. Or you can call 866-500-0017. Again, 866-500-0017. If your last name begins with A through L, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are the days that you will be able to go online or call the number to file your unemployment claim. Again, that's A through L, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if your last name is M through Z, your days are Tuesday and Thursday, where you can go to michigan.gov/UIA, or you can call 866-500-0017. It's a tough time for a lot of people economically. So if you are out of work, or if you know someone that is out of work and is facing financial hardship, please encourage them to go to the state of Michigan website or to call the number to file for unemployment insurance and get the financial assistance that they need. And with that, there's really nothing further for me tonight, but everybody please stay home and please stay safe. Thank you.
Council President Pro Tem Michael Londo.
Thank you, Council President Hart. And I just want to also echo my colleagues' sentiments as well. Thank you to the administration and our IT department and cable. I know they've been working really hard with Council President Hart to get this up and running. I've been on a Zoom call or two every single day, and this has went really, really smooth. So I appreciate all your guys' efforts on getting this done. And thanks to all the attendees. I see we have a lot of attendees in here listening to us, so we appreciate that. Also, congratulations to Mo and his wife, wishing for a healthy baby. Congratulations again. And then, you know, as I talked about, you know, as COVID-19 continues to evolve and impact our city and day-to-day work, I really want to take a moment to extend my deepest gratitude to our city workforce. We all know this has been a challenging time for all of us, and you all are handling this new normal and the ongoing changes incredibly well. I admire your dedication to the city of Westland, the support you're providing each other, and your ongoing flexibility while we continue to support our residents and our community. I also like to extend a huge shout out and thank you to our first responders, our frontline workers in public service for keeping our operations running with excellence. We have met the significantly increased demands on our city because of your commitment and outstanding hard work. You are all acting as owners and adjusting your ways of working on the front lines or social distancing by working from home. I hope you all continue to foster connectivity and collaboration however you can, and please don't forget to take the time to support your own personal well-being. We're all in this together, and I'm very proud of each and every one of you. Everyone be safe, and stay home. Thank you.
Thank you. Start my comments tonight by thanking Councilman Mike McDermott for leading us in a new and unique way of doing the Pledge of Allegiance as a group. That was very much welcome, and I appreciate it. You know, it's things do change, but the way we kind of march through them and adapt and overcome is kind of what makes us who we are in this team to be as effective as they are. So little things like that go a long way. All of you have thanked Craig, and I can't thank him enough. What you haven't seen is me riding him pretty hard to get this system up and running for us. Normally, Craig and I have pretty pleasant conversations, but you can kind of see some of the exhaustion on his face when I had to talk to him, or you could hear it over the phone. Craig is working nonstop, like a number of other folks are in police and fire. So, Craig, thank you. I know sometimes it can feel like a thankless job, but listen to all of us here. We're really thankful. We're thankful for everything you're doing. A lot of our professional Zoom users here have a lot of positive things to say about this interaction. So that makes me happy. If my colleagues are happy, then I'm happy, and we'll just keep moving forward. But we have you to thank for that. I also want to thank all of my colleagues, all of my council member colleagues. I really appreciate your willingness to be reasonable, your ability to maintain professionalism, and your interest in overall in the city and working in any way you can, in any facet we can. This is an interesting situation we're in right now, and as council members, sometimes we feel a little bit helpless. We're not on the front lines. We can't ride in the police cars. We can't ride in the fire trucks and the EMSs. And I know, God, if we could, we would. So we try and find every other way to be as effective as we are and be positive and supportive. And I appreciate every individual contribution all of you are doing that is supporting our city and maintaining a positive image. It does speak volumes, and it shows your professionalism. And I'm really thankful for all of that. Mayor, I'm thankful for all of the things you and your team are doing. Again, this is an unprecedented thing we've never had to do before. Police and fire and DPS and the administration team are trying to find ways to accomplish missions in a battlefield that we've never encountered before, and yet we're still doing it. And I do admire one thing you said before is, in this time of all others, people expect us to step up and lead and provide services and be a city. And I think you hit the nail on the head on that comment. And I think you and your team are doing a very good job of showing that's what you're doing. So I'm really thankful for the administration and everything you guys are doing as well. Hats off to you. As Councilman Herzberg alluded to, and yes, we are going to be going through budget sessions, and we have a couple meetings set up. We have our first 3 set up, and if we need more time, that's something we can talk about and adding more time. It's going to be interesting. This will be our format for at least the first 2 meetings. I'm hopeful that we turn the corner on the COVID-19 stay-at-home order, and we can go ahead and meet in person for those budget study sessions for the last one. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope that does happen. If we do need to schedule more time, of course, we'll schedule more time. It's a decision we have to work on closely together, but I don't want to rush it. I mean, if we have to add more time, that's what it'll take. So we'll work together, we'll get through these things, and then we'll meet as much as possible, and we'll go ahead and come up to a good resolution. Last thing to all the residents, thank you. I haven't seen anything negative out there. I've had to go to the grocery store. I have a family like everybody else. My kids eat, and now they eat even more because they're home all day instead of at school. So we have to go ahead and load up the grocery cart. So, but I've seen nothing but positive interactions everywhere I've been so far. Whether I'm at Heartland, whether I'm at Kroger, whether I'm at the gas station, or I'm at CVS picking up our scripts for our family. Everybody, life has been inconvenient, and we've all been getting along just fine that I've seen so far. So thank you to all the residents. Just remember, your positive attitudes go a long way. Go a long way. A negative attitude is really easy to catch. It's just as contagious and as evil as COVID-19 is, and we're better than that. As a city of Westland, we're really good, and I really appreciate seeing all the positivity out there and the way we've been working together. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of close with this, is we have a unique opportunity. Those of us who are non-essential are at home, spending time working from home. Use this time effectively. That book you wanted to read, pick it up. That instrument you wanted to play with, dust it off. Pick up those things. Crack the Bible if that's what you've been meaning to do, and find time to do it. Learn a language. There's plenty of apps online. You have this opportunity to fill your life with something you never had the opportunity or time to do it before. So we'll find out. Did you really not have time, or we just run out of excuses? This is your time. Make something positive out of it. Thank you, everybody. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? Just wave your hand.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.